Jiu-jitsu takes time, lifting takes time, and most people don't have enough of either. So here's how to structure your training week so you can improve at both. In this video, I'm going to run through 4 key principles that I use myself and with a lot of my clients to help structure all of our training weeks better. It's all about being efficient and laying out a good plan that you can follow week on week. So let's get into the first thing that you need to focus on. If you want to stack more weeks of jiu-jitsu and lifting together under your belt, it's going to be vital that you double up training on some days and have full rest days on others. No doubt you have many things to balance in life outside of just your training. You likely have a busy work schedule alongside time with family and hopefully a bit of a social life too. Although if you're like me, jiu-jitsu is probably your social life. Because of all of these things that you need to balance, it's vital that you try to stack your training, your lifting and your jiu-jitsu all together on the certain days that allow it. If you can get your lifting done in the morning, followed by jiu-jitsu immediately after or later that evening, you're freeing yourself up a lot to then recover fully the next day. Especially if you can manage to say, get this done on a Monday, followed then by another lifting or jiu-jitsu session on a Tuesday. Now, if you do that, you set yourself up for a really strong start to the week. This will then allow you to take a full Wednesday to recover, for argument's sake, from all of that dense training that you got in at the start of the week. Taking full days where you can focus on your training and then other full days where you can rest and focus on the other important areas of your life, this sets you up for really sustainable training weeks that you can repeat again and again going forward. And if you really want to get better at jiu-jitsu alongside getting bigger and stronger in the gym, it's really important to have these sustainable weeks that you can stack week after week. And if there's one thing that I want you to take from this video, it's going to be the next principle, which I believe is the most important thing that you could apply to your training overall. And that's taking a minimum effective dose approach to your lifting. Minimum effective dose is the single most important principle to get right when planning your training week. One of the most common issues that I see when talking to jiu-jitsu athletes is that they're just trying to do far too much in the week. Trying to jam in 5+ jiu-jitsu sessions a week as well as maxing out every single time they step in the gym without leaving anywhere near enough recovery time for all of this. And that's where minimum effective dose comes into play. You shouldn't be trying to get as much training as humanly possible in every single week and then only managing this for 2 or 3 weeks, then burning out, getting injured and having to take a break from training. Instead, you should be focusing on the minimum amount needed to make progress and then sustain that over time. That's not to say that you shouldn't train as much as possible, you definitely should, but train in a way that's sustainable long term, not just something that you can blast for a couple of weeks. There can definitely be weeks where you push a little more and get those extra sessions in. But if you constantly do this and you can't recover from all of that extra training that you're getting, well then this is where people get burnt out and they can't sustain it. So try to strike a balance between hard jiu-jitsu sessions and lifting sessions that move the needle enough for you to actually see progress. For example, if you're doing a set of 5 as one of your key lifts in the gym, you might focus on doing 2 or 3 high quality sets instead of pushing for like 5 sets. You've likely got hard jiu-jitsu rounds the next day, so focus on getting those 3 high quality sets and save some of that energy in the tank for your rolls the next day. That then leads us nicely onto our next point, which is prioritizing your most productive, most important jiu-jitsu sessions of the week. The aim of good strength and conditioning is to facilitate you to actually be better at your sport, despite what the fragile anti-lifting jiu-jitsu crowd would have you believe. And if you want to actually improve and get better at the sport, well then it's important to have your most effective jiu-jitsu sessions and prioritize them each week. There are certain jiu-jitsu sessions in the week that are going to yield the highest return on your time. Think the sessions with the best structure or with your best training partners there or the highest amount of people that are close to your level that are going to push you the right amount. These are the most important sessions to prioritize and it's well worth organizing your training week around these. If you're a more experienced grappler, there's absolutely no point in just getting a load of beginner or intro sessions in. These aren't going to make you any better at the sport. You need good hard rounds with training partners of a similar level so you can actually improve the techniques that you're working on. And if you prioritize these important sessions, you'll find that you make more progress than ever before. Which brings me on to the next point, which is equally as important. You need to get rid of those junk sessions that just do you no good. Junk sessions are the sessions in the week that just don't do you any good and don't impact your progress positively. You're tired, you're already recovering from a tough week of training, and you say, hey, I'm just going to squeeze one more session in this week. Does this session actually do you any good? Or are you just trying to tick a box in jiu-jitsu culture, which is get as many training sessions in a week as you can? Same thing goes for lifting weights. Sure, if you have a plan on the session and you're just tired, it doesn't matter. You should still be trying to get that session done. But if you find yourself flat and trying to get to an extra session and you're just feeling unproductive, well then maybe that time would have been much better spent actually resting for your more important training sessions. In order to actually progress at the sport, you need to go in and hit moves against good opponents of a similar level that are resisting and not letting you hit your stuff. And if you're unable to get this training because you're just flat or you're tired, well then you more than likely need to prioritize more recovery in your week. Recovery is as important as the training itself. And if you don't prioritize this properly, it's gonna come back to bite you. So if you're trying to balance all your lifting and all your jiu-jitsu, well then there's a couple of really effective principles that can help you to organize a much more productive training week. It's what you can do sustainably for time over the next 6 months, not just what you could blast out in the next 3 or 4 weeks. So if you liked the video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.